recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Zed Games.
Zed Games. My name is Hazel, and I'm here in the studio with my friends
Tom
and
Zahra.
How are you both?
I'm doing so good, especially now that we're in this beautiful air-conditioned studio. It is my friend.
I think I'm going to sign on for the next trip to Antarctica.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Because today is unreal.
Yeah. What if you had to bring a console, if you could bring a console with you on your trip to Antarctica, this also extends to you as well, Tom.
Of course.
What console would you bring?
Ooh, I'm thinking maybe the original Xbox, just for its like exothermal. It produces a lot of heat.
It would, yeah.
It does.
So you just sit with that on your lap, and you'll be toasty, roasty, warm for the summer season.
And it's got a great catalogue of games, and it's quite easy to mod ship.
That is true.
I wouldn't know what that is.
I would love to bring the Switch 2 if we had one.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's not happening.
We've got a jam-packed show tonight, so I think we better get into it. First up, we have a couple of things that we need to talk about. Zahra, do you want to take it away?
I will take it away. Thank you very much, Hazel. Now I'm taking the studio out to the street. We are going to Play Space, which is at Echo and Bounce. So Play Space is a unique gig exhibition kind of format being hosted by the Squiggly River Games Collective. It's a curation of local artists pushing the boundaries of interactive media. They'll be setting up throughout the loft, bar and basement with Echo and Bounce's Ramen Night also running as usual. This will be held at Echo and Bounce in Wollongabba on the 23rd of January, Thursday, starting at 6 p.m. And some of the games you can expect is Kitty Cafe, which has you listening to conversations in a cat cafe and learning more about the world you inhabit. I Thought You Would Write, which is a lonely moment on a crowded beach. Photography and poetry by the sea. And there's also a few other games as well. So if you are looking for something to do on a Thursday night and you're driving around while listening to Zed Games, I reckon drive on over to Echo and Bounce. As well, I would like to give everyone a little reminder that the Vanguard Exiles giveaway held by T-Division is still ongoing. That is going on until the end of the month. So to go into the draw to hopefully win an early access key for Vanguard Exiles, you'll need to wish list Vanguard Exiles on Steam and then email Zed Games, that is ZED Games, at 4zzz.org.au with your Steam username and 4ZZZ sub number. There are 3 early access keys to give away and 1 extra special Soul Ring card from Magic the Gathering signed by Richard Garfield. So if you don't want to miss out, get wishlisting. And if you're not too sure about the game, they did just release a new demo over the weekend, so you can give that a little try.
Very, very nice.
I'm going to do that when I get home.
Hell yeah.
If you could get something signed by any Garfield, which one would you pick?
Any Garfield?
Yeah, like Richard Garfield, creator of Magic the Gathering, Andrew Garfield, the actor, Garfield the cat, that one president that got shot.
That sounds pretty good.
I would make a lasagna and have Garfield the cat sign it. And then he can eat it.
Okay.
But I need to take a photo.
I want Andrew Garfield to sign my DVD of Spider-Man 2 starring Tobey Maguire.
Yes! Oh, he would love that. He would love that.
He would.
Yeah.
And then you get Toby to sign a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think they've already done that between each other?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely been done. But it's funny when I do it, though.
Do you think they've explored each other's bodies?
Carnally?
Their
I'm going to stop
spidey
it there.
senses.
Anyway,
Tingling.
so it's time for the week in gaming news. For our first story, Awesome Games Done Quick 2025 has wrapped up after raising over $2.5 million for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. So
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. They've now raised over $54 million over the 15 years that they've been running for various charities of all sorts.
but
And
also 26 million of that was just for the Prevent Cancer Foundation over the years.
so gamers hate cancer.
Gamers hate cancer.
Gamers hate
This
Now-
just
cancer.
in.
Gamers hate cancer.
I've never been a fan of it.
No,
If you're
but that's
not,
probably because you're a gamer.
Yeah.
if you're
know
not
it.
familiar with Games Done Quick or GDQ, it's a biannual, as in twice a year,
Very important.
speedrunning event. It is a speedrunning marathon where people come in and play. They speedrun games live on stream in front of everybody and try to raise money for charity.
Seems
in
so
the meantime.
stressful.
It's actually really fun to watch too, because the people who speedrun the games are generally really confident with their skills. So they'll actually explain what they're doing. They'll explain their time savings, exploits, and stuff like that. And
The
some-
commentary is really interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when they sometimes the actual devs will be involved or floating around, and it's just really cool to have that kind of community with the devs. These are speedrunners who are basically breaking their games, and the devs are just that's so cool. Show me how you did that.
Yeah, it's and there's some really good comedic moments from those. One of my favorite streams of Games Done Quick of all time is the Two Worlds speedrun, which is a Xbox 360 era RPG where the guy
Ooh.
shows how to beat the game in under 5 minutes.
Oh.
It's like an Oblivion length RPG
Oh my
thing,
god.
and he shows how if you just run straight to where the final villain is in the game, attack the NPCs that are nearby, if you draw their aggro, because of the level scaling in that game, they do massive amounts of damage full stop, and they can kill the final boss for you. And from the game's logic, the final boss dying triggers the last cutscene of the game,
Right.
Fascinating.
which
Okay.
is just crazy. And it's it's just very fun.
I mean, I'm sure the Oblivion world record, any percent, is 30 seconds. So
oh yeah,
And
that game's
RPGs are just made to be broken.
just held together
Um,
with paper mache.
But yes, if you've never been into speedrunning before and you're interested, GDQ events are a great way to start. And now that AGDQ 2025 has wrapped up, there's a ton of VODs that you can watch back and see all the awesome moments from it. You might miss some in-jokes, but that's just part of any community.
Yeah.
The Prevent Cancer Foundation, or PCF, is a US-based non-profit that aims to reduce cancer deaths by 40% by 2035. To do that, they plan to invest $20 million in technology for early cancer detection, $10 million for expanding cancer screening and vaccination access to underserved communities, and another $10 million to educate the public about screening and vaccination options.
Which is very important.
You're looking at a budget of $40 million, and you're getting $2.5 million from gamers.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a lot.
Sizable chunk.
Yeah.
Highlights from this year: there was a Crazy Taxi speedrun with a live band.
To avoid copyright.
Yeah, so that the VOD didn't get copyright struck.
So they can play that wonderful Offspring song that plays every time you start a Crazy Taxi run.
Yes, obviously.
You mean yeah.
And the final run of the event was a Super Metroid 4-way map randomizer race, as is tradition.
Ooh.
The runners Andy, Oats and Goats, Eddie, and IMYT managed to get through it all saving the animals, and having less than 1 second between first and second place at the end of it.
Dang.
Down to the wire.
Yeah. The next major event for GDQ is Summer Games Done Quick 2025, or SGDQ. That will be July 6th to 12th this year in Minneapolis, Minnesota, benefiting Doctors Without Borders or Médecins Sans Frontières, MSF. Now, moving on to our next story, CD Projekt's Good Old Games Marketplace has joined the European Game Preservation Program, FGAMP, the European Federation of Game Archives, Museums, and Preservation Projects.
That's GOG.
Yes.
Yeah.
GOG has joined FGAMP.
I love
the headline
acronyms.
there.
I love acronyms. I am absolutely pleased about this. GOG is the major European platform for digital game distribution, and they've always been supporting game preservation efforts. And FGAMP, it's right there in the name, Federation of Game Archives, Museums and Preservation Projects, is the largest European organization dedicated to preserving video games and interactive media. As they've stated, as a European company, we feel a responsibility to lead in preserving gaming heritage. Joining FGAMP reinforces this commitment. Our next step is to expand institutional collaboration with museums and governmental and non-governmental organizations worldwide. We hope our experience will contribute meaningfully to their efforts. We're also discussing exciting new game preservation projects, which we look forward to sharing soon.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Moving along, our next story is the Independent Games Festival have announced the 2025 awards finalists.
Yes.
And if you're not aware, the Independent Games Festival is part of the Game Developers Conference. So it will be held on Thursday, the 20th of March, live streamed on the GDC Twitch channel at 11:30 a.m. Brisbane time. And that is part of GDC 2025, so it is a massive convention that happens every year. The current favorite, I guess the overall favorite, since these are locked in now, is US dev Jenny Jiaoxiao's upcoming game Consume Me, which leads the pack with 5 nominations. And this is a game that asks the question that nobody else dares to. What if every part of being a teenager was a mini game? Especially eating.
Is that not what being a teenager is, though? It really did feel like a whole series of mini games and quick time events.
I think it really is a great concept that would recreate the experience of being a teen.
Mine was more like a Telltale game. A lot of like me saying something wrong and then saying so and so will remember that.
Yeah,
I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated it when it was like everyone disliked that. I was like, oh, geez, can I go back to the last save, please?
We won't go through all of the nominations, but there's some familiar names in there and some new names. Balatro, Caves of Kurd, Tactical Breach Wizards,
Indica, Angerfoot as well. Thank goodness you're here. That's another one.
And lots of things that I've never ever heard of.
Looking at this list, I think it's probably a good way to choose what to play next when you see them on sale.
Absolutely.
But it does make me realize, like, man, I should be playing more of these indie games. Like, there's a lot of good stuff out there.
All right, look, you're seeing the nominations list. I'm seeing the list of games that I need to be playing.
Exactly.
That's your wish list now.
Yeah, there we go. Sorted.
In a couple of headlines, the Switch 2 reveal is rumored to be imminent.
Yeah, there was a known leaker that was right on 2 other occasions. They correctly stated the release date or the announcement date of the Nintendo Alamo and the PS5 Pro. So they were right on those accounts, and they've said that, was it today that it was going to be announced?
It was. The date was supposed to be allegedly today. And, you know, I've been checking the internet every half hour, and there is no Switch 2. So, I mean, maybe it'll literally drop right after this episode.
Yeah,
maybe.
Knowing our life, that's going to be it.
Yeah. And also, Doom has been ported to PDF a PDF file that plays Doom.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah,
Why
play
not?
Doom on everything.
Well,
Tom-
to finish up,
Tom, do you want to read
Sorry?
out the
Ooh.
upcoming...
Oh, yeah. The
releases?
upcoming game releases. On January 17th, we have Donkey Kong Country Returns HD on the Switch. We have Montezuma's Revenge, the 40th Anniversary Edition for PC.
What do you mean 40th anniversary?
It's been around. Dynasty Warriors Origins is releasing on the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and the PC. And we also have Tales of Grace's F Remastered for the Nintendo Switch.
I don't know anything about Tales of Grace's F, but
I'm excited about Donkey Kong Country Returns.
You're listening to Zed Games at 4ZZZ.
You're listening to Zed Games on 4ZZZ.
Oi mate, you're listening to Zed Games at 4ZZZ.
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 Got a bit carried away.
you're listening to Zed Games.
Zed Games.
My
Zed
name
Games.
is Hazel, and there's two other people in the studio with me, as you may have heard. What are your names?
So I'm Zahra.
I'm
And
Tom.
And Tom.
We're your echoes.
Well, my echoes.
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 Okay. That's enough of that. Are you ready to review Sonic X Shadow Generations with me?
Yes, I am ready.
Great news.
I'm saying.
Changed my mind. My new favorite hedgehog is Scourge.
I'm not
Interesting.
actually going to change your mind.
Okay.
I think that was better than your other
Silver?
favorite. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So there's few things more alluring to a Sonic fan than past games. Whether your introduction to the Blue Blur was in the early days of Sonic with 2D sprites and his adorable roundness, or his more modern depictions such as in Sonic Adventure Unleashed with high-speed platforming. Sonic Generations took us on a journey through memory lane, where due to a time monster, past and present end up meeting, and you get to replay old acts from past games in the classic Sonic format and a modern Sonic format. It's really cute. There's a series of challenges to complete along the way and loads of concept art and music to unlock. It's a bit like a mixtape of acts in there, and you can unlock skills to really level up your speed running prowess. In Sonic X Shadow Generations, we got to play through Sonic Generations again in remastered glory. But if you play the original, you've basically played the remaster. It doesn't change anything significantly, except that it's now on the PS5 with more pixels than I can see. But it's still a cute and fun time. Like, wee, look at our favourite guys hanging out saving the day. Our friends are here to cheer us on. Vector the crocodile was also there. It's great. I'm going to be focusing on the Shadow side of Sonic X Shadow Generations because that is new and it's pretty different to Sonic Generations.
Just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit. You come to the title screen and you get to choose between Sonic Generations and Shadow Generations.
And when you change, the music changes, and it's so dramatic.
It's so edgy.
The
I
guitar
feel like-
goes down an octave.
It's
Is
just
that-
like
I feel like I'm 14 the second I switch over to it.
pretty much. Shadow finds himself in that strange space of matte white filled with scenes from his past, except they're dormant and colorless. By playing through each act, more color and life returns to the space, filling out with additional structures, almost like you're restoring it. But of course, Shadow's past isn't bright and cheery. And that's all brought back to the present in Shadow Generations as we run down Radical Highway. A figure from a game some of us try to forget makes a return. Black Doom. You know, Shadow's biological dad who featured in the video game Shadow the Hedgehog. As we all know, Shadow isn't just a freakish hedgehog. He is the ultimate life form, an attempt to cure Maria of a terminal illness, and he is part alien thanks to Black Doom. Family's complicated.
Family is complicated.
Now, Black Doom wants to utilize Shadow for his dark deeds. Maria wants Shadow to be happy and not do dark deeds, and Shadow is stuck in the middle, drawn by nature and nurture. Does he embrace his alien heritage and all that it brings, or does he listen to a voice that hasn't existed for 50 years? All of the acts in Shadow Generations reflects his past adventures in Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, Sonic 06, and Sonic Frontiers for some reason. He wasn't there.
But what was he doing?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. He's running. And Radical Highway. Radical Highway turns up a lot.
Like so much.
So much.
How many Radical Highways are there?
At least 3. I'm not joking.
Wow.
At least 3.
I mean,
basically, there's triggers in the levels, like in the main acts, that will transport you away from what you're doing and into like a reality warping version of Radical Highway where Doom's eye surprises you.
It's really hectic and it's so much fun. It's really dynamic with a lot of room for speedrunning perfection. And as you unlock abilities, you unlock new ways to traverse these acts. Let's talk about the abilities for a moment. Shadow is already super fast. He can utilize the Chaos Emeralds and he can teleport. But on top of that, he unlocks dark abilities like Doom Surf. What is Doom Surf, Hazel?
When Doom Surf activates, a bunch of like black tendrils come out from his feet and turn into this like manta ray shaped thing that he surfs around on like he's playing Pokemon, and he just used the move Surf. Yes.
And there's also Doom Glide. What is Doom Glide, Hazel?
Well, Doom Glide, Doom Wing, Shadow transforms and grows big black demon wings, which looks sick as hell, but also like they're somebody's DeviantArt OC from 2009.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I don't
So
ever
cool.
remember Shadow doing these things.
No, this is all new.
This is all
and
his family, you know?
He's so tortured by it as well because he's like corrupted by Black Doom's energy, and that's how he's getting the powers. So he's all like edgy, and when you switch to the Doomwing version of levels, he literally in the cutscene, like in the menu for the level, he's there like clutching his face, like
over one eye, he's like sort of hunched over.
It's amazing. It's everything you love about Shadow turned up to 11.
So you said the Doomwing version of the levels. So does that mean there's variants for each level depending on what transformation you have?
The levels are the same, but you have the option to turn on the power that lets you fly or not.
Yeah.
And the power that lets you fly obviously leads to insane sequence breaks and speedrunning skips and all that.
Yeah.
I've seen he's got the Chaos Spear again.
Yes. It's pretty OP. It's all pretty OP.
He also can turn into a squid.
Yeah, it's a little weird though.
He goes full Splatoon. But like evil Splatoon.
So those aren't spines. Those aren't like... He doesn't have spines like Sonic. Those are secretly been tentacles this whole time.
Yes.
It seems like they come from inside him.
Yeah, of course.
I really don't want to talk about Doom Morph anymore because it's weird.
It's bad.
So anything but... Does he still have a gun? Is he packing heat?
He doesn't have a gun.
Wow.
It's just pure Shadow. It's just all Shadow.
It was, you know what? I think the guns were holding him back.
The guns were they were just like a weight. He didn't really need the guns.
Yeah. Would Goku use a gun? No, it'd shoot beams of energy.
Exactly.
It's way stronger. So that's what Shadow does.
Chaos Sphere. That's his gun.
Yeah.
Those abilities do take some time to master, and the tutorials don't really explain how to use some of the abilities in a comprehensive manner, so you do have to play around a bit. Shadow Generations also revisits some old boss battles, really interesting ones like Biolizard or Mephiles, which could have been so cool. Instead, I just beat them up. And Shadow had, a dry one-liner and he moves on. And I really would have liked more from those battles, that more challenge, more dynamic, to feel like Black Doom really is putting Shadow through some trials. And when I know that the original battles were difficult, that they were challenging, it just sort of loses some of its impact. And that's kind of like my main complaint. It's too easy at times. There's really awesome in-game cutscenes and cool sequences where I don't need to press any buttons for like 5 to 10 seconds. And I really, really would have liked to.
Just anything. Like, there's just too many bits where Shadow's doing cool stuff and you're just, like, sitting there watching him.
And I love seeing him do the cool stuff, but, like, I want to be doing the cool stuff
That's what the movie's
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, exactly. I'm playing a game.
This is a video game. I'm holding a controller. I want to press buttons.
And the controller's like, beep, 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 beep. I'm like, I was sure thing, buddy. I would love to press some buttons, but unfortunately, this is a scripted sequence.
But that is pretty much my only criticism.
Pretty much.
The boss fight's too easy. Everything else, it's a perfect game.
It's so much fun. I have been finding myself revisiting the axe a lot to try and like trim down a few seconds. Trying to learn to use the new abilities as well as like Doom Wing, Doom Glide to like traverse the levels and just like kind of go, I wonder where this goes. And then be like, whoa, this is a whole shortcut I didn't even know about. And that's the sound effect of going up like a whole bunch of grind rails and stuff and going upside down and there's a truck. Appearing.
Also, if you are not like deep into Sonic lore, but you are interested, you do not have to go back and play all the old games to play this. You might be slightly confused about some of the plot points if you don't, but you'll be fine.
Yeah.
The plot,
and you'll be able to learn it, no problem.
The plots have always been all over the place in terms of Sonic games. Like, they range from Dr. Eggman / Robotnik is doing some nasty stuff to animals, putting them in robots. And then it's gone all the way through to different world dominations, new hedgehogs appearing.
New hedgehogs
time
constantly
travel,
appearing,
space
time
diseases.
travel. The moon is mad for some reason.
There is a bio lizard.
There's a bio lizard and it's not happy either. But all the music, bangers. But they've always been bangers.
Yes. We do get a bunch of interesting remixes and new versions of a lot of the songs. That's it. That's our review of Shadow Generations. It
Very fun,
rules,
very edgy.
but it should be harder.
It should be harder.
You're listening to Zed Games in the year 2025. My name's Hazel, and I'm here in the studio with Zahra.
Hello.
And Tom.
Tom!
That's me. And I have a review
Yay!
for you.
Oh, whoa, and you're a poet as well.
And he doesn't even know it.
Whoa.
Yeah. Go. Rangers. Right?
Go. Power Rangers.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Readers Rewind. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Readers Rewind.
What are you reviewing, Tom?
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Readers Rewind.
What is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind?
Do you remember 2 years ago or so when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge came out?
Yes.
Yeah, what if Power Rangers did that?
Okay.
You know, I kind of had that thought in the back of my mind when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Rita's Rewind, Shredder's Revenge.
Yes, came out.
Yeah, look, so it's a retro-styled arcade beat-em-up.
Hell yeah.
And it released December 2024 from developer Digital Eclipse. Now, Digital Eclipse, they've been around for a long time, mostly known for working on retro game ports and collections, even back to the 90s and 2000s. So they've worked on like the Mega Man Legacy Collection, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection, and interestingly, they also worked on the playable documentary The Making of Karateka, which was a very interesting game. But long story short, they have a deep appreciation for retro games, and that's basically what they've used as their whole thesis for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. So this retro-style beat-em-up is based specifically on the original run of Saban's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I'm talking Red Ranger, Blue Ranger, Yellow Ranger, Pink Ranger, and Black Ranger. And that's
the legends.
You got Jason, Tommy, Kimberly, Zach. And yeah, so it's based on that one. The evil Rita Repulsa from the future, Robo Rita, has traveled back in time to help current day Rita Repulsa against the Power Rangers.
I hate when that happens.
It's so time stuff again.
Oh, that is time monsters.
Oh, don't we get into time stuff here, and it's not very fun. So it's a pretty classic beat 'em up. So you're rolling through the stage, up to 5 concurrent players can play on most platforms. And you've got your basic combo attacks, your jump, your dodge, and your super move where you hold out your power coin and you go Tyrannosaurus, and then like fire goes around. It's a screen clear move. But it's a very basic old school beat 'em up. Think Turtles in Time, think Final Fight, that sort of thing. And that's kind of my issue with the game, is it's very retro styled. The visuals are beautiful 2D sprite art for the most part, and it's animated really well. And except for the Megazords are 3D, but they're in low frame rate in all of its charming glory, which that part of it looks very PS1 aesthetic. So I really love the presentation of the game. There's a sincere love for the original Power Rangers series, like little secret Easter eggs hidden in the backgrounds. There's recreations of old themes, like the bullies from the original show are in there, and they talk smack in between the levels, where they're like, "Oh, those Power Rangers didn't actually kill those guys. That was really me." And they're like, "Bulk, weren't you crying in the corner?" And he's like, "No, that wasn't me. It was the Power Rangers."
No way, dude.
He's like, "The Power Rangers wear masks. It could be any of us." And they're like, "Huh? Yeah, right. Like me, huh?" And anyway, there's like little collectibles you can find in the stages that have references to all sorts of things from the show. But it's just so frustrating. So the game's only 2.5 hours long. Me and my partner beat it as 2 players co-op over the course of 2 short sessions. And I don't... There are some cool things. So at the end of a level, you'll fight a boss, and then half the time they'll do the classic Power Rangers, like Rita throws a magical scepter into the ground and turns the monster really big, so you need to call your Megazords to come fight her. So if you've watched the old Mighty Morphin Power Rangers show, there were segments where there were giant, like everyone had their own little token beast as a monster, as a robot that would run down and join into one big one. But before you join into one big one, they often like shot beams or whatever at the monster, and it would never work. But they had to do it to fill time.
Well, you got to set the stakes before you pull out the Megazord.
Yeah. Goku doesn't start with the Spirit Bomb.
No,
He
works
should.
up to it. Tries. You mean it would be efficient?
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
But like you got to build up to it.
It'd be a bit boring.
It's the theatrics of it all. So in this one, it's actually a little run and gun segment where you're in your Megazord running towards the horizon, where the monster's in the background, and you have to like shoot 'em up style, dodge pits, blow up rocks, blow up robots, and that part's cool. That's very fun. Same for the parts where you are in your little motorbike going after the monster in the taxi or whatever. Those segments are really fun, and the music that goes along with it is excellent. Fantastic homages to both old Power Rangers themes and old Power Rangers games. The Stage 1 theme has reference to the Super Nintendo Stage 1 theme, which is really cool. But you get to the end, you join into your big Megazord, you get ready to fist fight this other giant monster, and then it's like very clunky punch out that's not very fun. And so that's my main issue with this, is that all the parts are presented really well, and you can have a good time on the couch with your friends playing through this, but you're not going to get any sort of longevity or depth out of this like you would for a modern beat 'em up like a River City Girls. Like that has excellent combo potential. You level your characters up, you unlock new moves. That ain't happening with Power Rangers.
You play through the game, you power through it.
Yeah, you beat 10 levels. The Green Ranger's there. You beat him up. And then you fight the final boss, and it's done. And it's like bonus modes. Speedrun mode. We'll put a stopwatch next to the screen while you play the game and see how long it takes you. So at its price point, which was roughly $50, I think it's a bit steep for what it's offering. But if it goes on sale or on like a Game Pass or something like that, it's worth a look. Very easy to pick up, even if you're not familiar with the genre.
But not worth a full price game tag.
Ooh, no. But
understood.
Yeah.
And if it's like 2.5 hours, that's $20 an hour.
Yeah.
About.
Yeah. And look, it's maybe play Shredder's Revenge. And you'll have a much more fun time with more fluid combat.
I think we'll finish on that.
I'm sorry, Power Rangers.
Teenage Ninja Turtles. Teenage Ninja Turtles.
Readers, rewind.
Well, that is bringing us up to the end of the show tonight.
Aw.
Yes, I know. We ran out of time. We talked too much. We just love video games.
I love games so much.
Well, since you love games so much, do you want to shout out a games event?
Oh, yes.
Just remind the people.
Yeah, so next week on the 23rd of January on Thursday at 6 p.m, there is Play Space, which is at Echo and Bounce in Wollongabba. There's a collection of games being presented by the Squiggly River Games Collective, which is a great community.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. And we also have the 2 Division Vanguard Exiles early access key giveaway, where if you wishlist Vanguard Exiles on Steam and email zedgames@4zzz.org.au with your Steam username and 4ZZZ sub number, you will go into the draw to win one of 3 early access keys for Vanguard Exiles, as well as one Soul Ring card from Magic the Gathering signed by Richard Garfield. Yeah.
Well, that's it for us tonight. Good night. Goodbye. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya. Love you.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app.
Or find us on socials at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.